Okay, so let's go to our first R plus replay. Let's start up first. Anyway, this first replay is a reinforcements mode 3v3. Played just yesterday, actually, the day before yesterday, rather, and it was a fairly one-sided game from what I was told. But the one thing about doing R plus games and focusing on just the start, the first 1v1 R plus, it doesn't matter if the game's a stomp or not, right? All I'm interested in is that first engagement. So the city outskirts, 3v3, XC42, Rolling Hamster, Bulls against Terrapin Rocks, Terrapin, Clone, and Fabulous Rug. So the teams aren't actually that bad. Let's see how we start. Thing is, for these R plus replays, I'm gonna keep the Fog of War on, and I'm only gonna focus on one side and try and see what they could have done differently or what they did correctly, and kind of see what I would have tried to have done probably in those situations. So let's see. Since we're on both sides, let's just go ahead and watch him. Let's pause it right here at 5 seconds. A bit more. Okay, there we go. So looks like X42. We'll be watching X42 for this R plus, and so X42. So let's see what he's spotting. He's spotted a captain, a Bren squad, 17 pounder. So we're looking pretty good. Looks like he just wants a normal 25 pop call in. The boys AT is here. What's in this Bren carrier? Some Piats. Yeah, those are Piats. I would have liked to have seen, we're just talking here generally speaking, you've already got two very good sources of AT with the 17 pound and the Piats in a car, right? So I would have liked to have seen something else in this squad, maybe another Bren gun, maybe some rifle nades, maybe some scoped Enfields, because from what I've seen, scoped Enfields work really well in combination with a DPS source like Bren's or rifle nades, right? And I do believe he's playing RCA, because I'm pretty sure only RCA has access to the 17 pounder right now, so I'm pretty sure scoped Enfields would be a possibility here. Vet 2 Lieutenant, which is quite nice. I'm pretty sure Vet 2 still gives a bonus to the ore it gives, so it's not a bad start. The only concern I'd have is this Tommy squad here. I think it's unnecessary to have this boys AT here when you've already got mobile AT and boys car and the heavy AT with the 17. But let's see what goes on here. Let's see. Oh, one thing you'll notice, one weakness the Brits have had for a long time is scouting ability, and Brits tend to suffer a lot in R plus starts. So I think fairly recently we made the change, but you'll notice the Bren carrier has pretty extended sight range. Recently, I'm pretty sure we extended the sight range to 40 or 45 meters in the Bren carrier. So hopefully that helps out XC in this situation. So what you really want to do in R plus is figure out what your opponent has as fast as possible, right? With minimum risk to your own, and it's hard to do with Brits because you can't just bring in a Jeep or something like that. All the recon Tommy squad can do it. So scouting with the Bren is probably is the best plan here. So let's see how this progresses. So no contact yet. 17 seconds to get on. Okay, we have first contact here. It's just a bike. It's just a bike. So now what you have to assess. Okay, so you've seen this bike now. What you need to assess now is this bike the only thing they have on field? Like, are they going to attempt to counter your composition? Or is there something already following up this bike? That's really important at this point, right? Because if you see this bike and you suspect this bike is the only thing they have on field, it's really smart to just ball up and get ready to defend against whatever the counter composition the one's bringing in. However, if you see this bike and you scout something else out around here or back here, then you can go with your normal plan, right? So it's really important once you see this bike to see if your opponent has anything else on field or if they're about to call in a counter composition. So we still don't see anything else on field, so it does look... Oh, okay, so here we go. We see an Ostwind. Okay. So what situation are we in here now? Let's see what the plays XC has available to him. Uh, let's see. So let's open up our pen, our board. Okay. So what I want to see, or what I would expect to see is, let's see. We have the Ostwind here. So we have the Ostwind. So what do you want to do about the Ostwind? This question at this point. The options extend to. We have the Boys AT, which can cruise shock it, but I'm not sure that's gonna do him much good, right? The main thing you're gonna have to use is just 17 pounder in combination with the Brens and the Piat, right? Piats do a lot of damage to Austin, right? Now, what we know is we've got an Ostwind, we've got 11 pop used up because we see the Ostwind on the bike. So these Boys AT really are not going to be doing too much, honestly, against this Ostwind, because I'm pretty sure Boys AT will bounce against Ostwind. So what you want to do at this point, at least what I would expect that XC will do is he'll move these guys back in this direction probably while this moves up. And you probably want to put it around, say, here, pointing that way, or right here, pointing this way, depending on where you want your action to be. My preference would be up here because you have a bit more room to move around because you can move around this way or cover around this way while this keeps the center of engagement going on, right? It's really important, so let me clear the screen up, it's really important that this stays alive as well, right? Because Piazza and Bren are actually really good for taking on Ostwind if you can find that Ostwind alone, right? Or finish off the Ostwind, because the Ostwind, as I'm sure many players know, is actually a really good counter to Bren carriers, right? So you don't want to engage with this Bren carrier right away, right? So you wouldn't want to rush it right at it. You'd want to take your main force here, your main chunk of force here, and get it behind this house. Get this 17 pounder again in position, either here pointing this way, or in position here pointing this way, right? So you have this house to play around with right here, and this hedge right here, so you protect yourself from flanks. And then from there, just figure out what else he has on field. Because I'm assuming if you've got the Ostwind, you've got more than just the Ostwind on field, right? You've got 11 pop. I would suspect there's probably either infantry back here or, maybe Shrekgrens. Shrekgrens are usually a good combination of Ostwind, or maybe just a standard pack is somewhere back here or here. Now the pack will be pretty far behind, right? But not so far. But we're already 50. We're already almost a minute in, right? And I believe a pack would have guarded up here, so I don't think this Ostwind rushed in right away to try and engage. It's probably got support fairly close behind. Now here's the thing. It's very nice and easy for me to say all these things right here while I've got the game paused and I'm analyzing it. The thing with R+ is this is the kind of decision making you make in a few seconds, right? Just this is instinct at this point. But my instinct, like let's take away all that. My initial instinct, assuming I was playing this, my initial instinct would be to just back these guys up back here behind the house when my 17 comes up, and keep these guys safe and ready to flank around either like this or all the way around like that. That'd be my main inclination. But my main thing is get these guys away from Ostwind, bring the 17 for support, and keep this alive to finish off the Ostwind if I get a shot in with the 17, right? So I think so basically I'd be conservative. Right now I'd be trying to disengage wherever possible and keep alive against this Ostwind. So let us see what XC decides to do in this situation instead. So he's been the Boys 18. He's trying to cruise shock right away. So not the worst idea, but it's disengage at this point, right? You've got the cruise shock, you've got a cruise. So, okay. We now see the rest of his army, right? We now see the rest. So it's 9, we've got 11 pop, we got 14 pop, we got 19 pop. So 6 pop left to play with. And honestly, I would expect a pack to be following this group up right here. Pack or another Shrekgren, right? So this is just reinforces my belief that this Bren needs to get back and only look for a target of opportunity, right? Because running in right now, for example, you're going to run into Shrek. An Ostwind's already a pretty hard counter to Bren carry, but you got this Shrek as well. And you probably got another Shrek squad back here, or maybe another pack back here, right? And they've got the bike around here too, so they'll see you coming if you do a wide plane. So what you need to do is kind of pull back, maybe reset your engagement to around this area, right? So again, like I was saying, you want to reset your engagement to this area. So we see this, and the MG's there. So thing is, when you see the MG there, this engagement area is already bad, right? Because this MG is setting up, you're gonna get suppressed. You don't want to engage in this area. He's probably got this area locked down, so you probably want to re-spread yourself and re-engage in this area or this area, somewhat away from the MG, right? So what I was saying earlier about possibly fighting it out over here is a bad idea now. So this 17 again will dictate where the Brits play, I feel like. So you want the 17 either around here, right, covering this, or you want it around here now, trying to entice the Ostwind over it. Because I don't think the bike has seen the 17 pounder yet. I'm pretty sure the bike has not seen the 17 pounder yet because of how slow it was. But again, it's really important at this point to keep this alive. It's really important to keep this alive right now. And honestly, I would say right now, this Bren carrier is probably next to useless. With the either 2 Shreks or a Shrek plus a pack running around here with an Ostwind. So this Bren carrier can probably leave this engagement entirely. And what I do with it probably is, if we go to the map, I would probably, while we try and set up in kind of this location with the 17 pounder and the infantry, I would just send this Bren carrier and just start capping around here, just to annoy the Axis, right? Because what you'll do in that situation is one or two things will happen. Either you'll get the Ostwind to go and chase you, which helps you out. That's a 7 pop investment in your Piazza and Bren, taking away this 9 pop investment of the Ostwind from your main engagement area, right? So you can try and outcover these, because it's going to be about the MG plus probably 2 squads in the bike. And the bike doesn't really count as a combat unit, right? So you'll have about 13 pop against the majority of your forces right here. Although the 17 pounder is a bit less useful at that point. But 2 Tommies with the lieutenant. I am assuming the lieutenant has heroic charge, right? I'm assuming that. I'm not actually sure if he gets a heroic charge by default anymore. I'm not sure. That's something I should probably know. But that's what I would do with this Bren at this point. And if the option 2 is if this Ostwind does not disengage to get this Bren carrier, and he decides to engage at 17, chances are he'll take a 17 shot, and you'll be somewhere around this area. So you'll be in prime position to come around and flank and get some Piat shots off on this Ostwind and get back out. So help in that hit and run concept, right? So that's what I'm thinking here is the plan. That's what the play is. You want to reassess you've assessed what your opponent has. You can probably make a good prediction of what the last thing is, right? And you understand what you need to do. So you want to basically get your stuff together, right? So get these infantry with the 17, get into a position that's advantageous to you. So here or here, something like that, and then use this to come in at a opportune moment, right? Because right now, going face first is awesome in these Shreks. This Piat car is not going to do anything useful. And as I say that, the Piat car goes in, takes the Shrek, takes the Ostwind shot. He does get Piat hit off, but it's going down. So that's a major misplay, I feel like. So can these Piats maybe go into ambush, get 2 more shots in this Ostwind? No? Maybe? No, these Piats look dead. Okay, here's a pack. So it's a pack and an MG here, and those Piats are dead. So now we have some major reassessment to do. We've lost a major piece of AT. So this Ostwind is a lot more free now because since this pack is here, I am pretty sure he now sees the 17. Let's go here. But my assumption is, if I were playing, my assumption would be he sees the 17. Yes, he sees the 17 for ages. Yes. So going back to XC, there are 2 options here, 2 basic options here. One, again, I still say this is a bad engagement area. You've got this MG here, you've got this Ostwind sitting right here with just minimal AT support. I'd leave this AT gun here, but get these guys back, right? Get these guys back. Move them. The MG is pointed this way, right? So that's option 1. Is like, so you've got the MG covering this area right here, right? So just leave this. So move these guys over here. I still think re-engaging in this location is the best idea, right? Option 2, I guess. What else? What other options would we have at this point? Re-engage. Yeah, just re-engaging here. You could move here, but the thing is, the Osman's right here, so you're gonna have to be dragging this 17 pound over bit by bit. And if those that pack, that MG, that Grenadier squad, and basically right now, if you can't get that, if you can't get that Osman out of the equation, right, you can't win this engagement over here. Because you know, the pack there is basically useless right now. So that's a good thing you've got going for you. This pack doesn't do anything. That bike is basically a negligible pop bonus. So you've got a lieutenant and 2 Tommy squads to beat 1 Shrek Grand squad and 1 MG42, which is an entirely doable prospect. Except this thing is here, right? If he still had the Piat cars, right? Come out with 17, he could easily take out this MG, especially if he's got Heroic Charge or something on his lieutenant. But I think with that Piat card down, you don't have the ability to really punish this Arsenal with just the 17 pounder due to its rate of fire. So again, my option 1 would be to re-engage here. Option 2 is just call your losses, right? Sometimes you just lose an R plus engagement. You miss micro something, you make a bad play. So option 2 would be just to disengage and wait for your teammate to come on, right? And the idea here is, so you'd probably disengage. I don't know where you'd want to disengage to. Probably somewhere back here-ish. Where would you disengage to? So if you don't go here, this is more offensive option. Disengage probably to this line here, these houses, or if you want to be a bit frisky, maybe this green cover here and just wait. But the thing is, the only thing I'm concerned about here is if you wait here, you're gonna have to put your 17 pounder either, you know, around here or around here if you disengage these areas. My concern is the Wehrmacht player has a bike on right now, right? If he scouts that 17 pounder like here or here, he's just going to send his Ostland around this way or around that way and kill your 17, and then have his way probably with your boys 18 Tommies, right? So that would be my concern with going passive, but it depends. I mean, you are playing against, I actually can see, it was Terrapin. He was playing against Terrapin, so it's entirely possible that Terrapin would not risk a major flanking action like that, because that's not the modus operandi, right? Terrapin doesn't usually pull maneuvers like that. So you can take that into consideration, but I would still be concerned if I decide to go passive in this kind of situation here. My concern would be he would scout out the 17 pounder and just circle strafe it with a wide flanking Ostman. And then bring the MG42 and the Grens and the Ostman to finish off whatever's left here. So that would be my concern. My preference would be to get together, re-engage in a different sector, try and make the MG42 move, and keep the Ostman away from me if possible, right? So let's see what XC goes with here. So he's moving these away. He seems to be trying to. He still seems to be trying to engage here. This pack's still here. This MG is moving. So the MG is moving along this way. So it's gonna come around here or here, right, to try and get these guys. So he's moving around. So this 17 is really alone right now. I don't like that. The 17 should be moving with your body, because if that Ostman comes up like right here, these guys are in a lot of trouble, right? And the 17 is way out of range to help these Tommies out right now. And the Terrapin obviously sees these Tommies because you saw that bike moving over here, right? MG, so Ostman's here. So the 17 is moving now. So it does appear that XC is going to go for the passive strategy here and just hold his losses, right? He's not going to try and re-engage. He's just going to try and hold his losses off and wait for his teammate. And he's only got about a minute 30 seconds left, right? So the initiative now is on Terrapin, right? Will he try and take advantage of the advantage he gained by killing this Piats, or will he just take the win with the 1 Piat squad and just let the map stay where it is? That really now the initiative is entirely in the Axis player's hands. It's the full entirety of the initiative is basically Terrapin, right? Because he's got the pop advantage now as well. He's got the scouting advantage. He's got the pop advantage. And you could argue a compositional advantage as well. But it does not seem like Terrapin is doing anything with the situation here. Now, here's something I do want to discuss right now. I don't know if people realize this or not, but in R+, for almost the entirety of the duration of your engagement, the 1v1 engagement, pop map doesn't matter that much, right? It really doesn't matter that much. It's good for annoying your opponent. Like, if you can grab a lot of map, it can slow down the second and third player coming in, because they'll have to counter cap you, like this area before they hit the main engagement zone. But this Tommy squad seems to be coming back here to cap this sector and this sector. If you're an R+, please don't do that, right? Unless your initial plan is to just cap. But if you're actually planning to engage and you've been engaged, Do not spread yourself out just to cap some map. Your teammate will come in from, right here, or right here, and they will go up and they'll cap the map as they come up the field. This person will spawn in, he'll cap the map as he comes up the field. Do not worry about it. Keep your shit together, because if you got this one Tommy squad back here, and suddenly your opponent decides, hey, now's a good time to rush, is this 1 sector of capping worth losing all this stuff here? Is it worth losing it? No, it's not. When you're first in R+, just stay, unless your initial plan is to just cap the map out, just stay together, keep your stuff alive, try and win the engagement. That's all you should be trying to do. So anyways, so it seems like XC is taking the passive route here. It's trying to cap this sector. As I said, I don't like that. I like it to stay here for insurance. Let your teammates come in on the field, cap these sections of the map. But I think let's turn off Flag of War now. Let's see. So Terrapin, yes, Terrapin is playing this very passively. He got the early advantage. He's content. He doesn't want to push. He doesn't want to push the advantage. He doesn't want to push allies off field early game. He's quite content because I mean, he's not even scouting the spike a lot, right? So I'd move the spike and see what's going on. So that seems to be this R+, right? So what did we take away from this? What mistakes did we see? And could it have been played differently? Was this a winnable R+? Because I would say Axis overall won this R+. They could have won it a lot more, right? With a little bit of applied aggression. But in the end, you came out ahead on it because you got the Piat squad, and you got the Bren carry off the field, and you got reasonable field position in this section here, right? So it's not too bad. It could have been better though. So what would I have done differently? Well, okay, again, it's really important. So what were the mistakes we saw? Because this R+, performance in, teammates on, so this R+ is in the 2v2 stage now, so we're done analyzing here. So what would have been different? Well, my main concern is that Piat car was engaged way too early, with way too little support against way too many counters, right? That Piat car was really poorly used in that engagement, right? You don't have a 17 backing it up, you don't have these infantry ready to engage anything here like the Struck Squadron of the MG. So that Piat squad was sent in and achieved nothing, and it died. So that was the major mistake here, and that really hurt, because we are now 7 pop down at the 25. And there's another concern I have is, my concern that I really have there is you lost 7 pop. That's 4 pop plus 3 pop for the Bren carrier. And during the entirety of that 4 minutes, XC never brought anything else on field. So this tells me one of two things. Either he had no 7 pop call-ins, or he forgot, and both are really bad. A 7 pop call-in, you should have something in your company that can do that. Either a single Tommy squad, a Vickers MG, a mortar. You should have something he could have been able to call on to help support this since he went down 7 pop, because he was playing down 7 pop this entire time. And he's really, really, really lucky that Terrapin did not see that, hey, I've got a scouting advantage, I've got a 7 pop advantage, well 5 pop advantage really because of the bike. But that bike is scouting, right? So it's still a discernible advantage. And XC is really lucky Terrapin didn't just push him off the map and decide to play passively. Because if Terrapin had been aggressive, XC would have been in a lot of trouble in this situation, I feel like. But he lucked out of it. He went for the passive route himself. So XC was able to get out this game with minor loss. It's a positional loss. It's still an allied loss for this R+, but it's really not as much as you would think. Because look at this. He's still got basic field position here. Terrapin's still hanging around here. He's got this section here. He's got central map. He's got reasonable central map presence. And the second player is coming on with a lot of infantry and some more AT to help deal with this Ostman. So you could say it's a wash. I mean, tactically speaking, it's a win for the Axis, right? Because you did kill that Bren carrier, you got some uses off the field. But strategically speaking, it's a minor victory at best, because you do have the good section of the map here. You on city outskirts, you don't want to be stuck in the towns here and back here, because losing control of this open field means it can get locked down super fast by any amount of support weapons, an MG or pack. So he's got the majority of the central field control right here compared to the allies who are still kind of stuck in this cover zone here and here. But it could have been worse for allies, and XC's major mistake really was that Bren carrier, and I really would have liked to have seen what would happen to the engagement if that Bren carrier wasn't YOLO rushed in, because that was the major mistake here. So that's my analysis here. It's basically a wash. I can see this game going to either team at this point, because there was no major disadvantage game for any team in this R plus game. It was just a bit of poor play, but that was bailed out by a fairly passive Axis player. So that's the analysis here. Sorry, XC, for putting you in the spot like this, but I'm learning from this too. And as I view these, I get to see these strategies and these R plus game styles go in, see the mistakes, and hopefully by seeing these, it'll help me to recognize a situation quickly and help someone else to recognize the situation quickly and see what they did wrong, right? So that's the end of this this recording.